So I want to welcome you all today to the October edition of the Marketing Tool Talk webinar. I'm Jennifer Burke of IntelliCraft Research. I'm a strategic marketing storyteller for libraries. And I love that I get to spend my time and my skills as a researcher looking for tools, looking for apps and software and reviewing them so that I can help my library and nonprofit and info pro pals and colleagues do marketing smarter and easier. I do the research so that you don't have to help find tools to make marketing, quicker, faster, easier, less headaches. And because it's a way for me to get a chance to play with all of the cool software, apps, and tools out there as part of my job. So if you're also not aware that I give presentations on this, I speak to library conferences, library consortiums, about both marketing tools and other marketing topics. I do half-day workshops, all full-day workshops to dive in depth to various marketing tools, talk about things like video animation, video software, content marketing, content creation. I write a every other month column for the Information Today Marketing Library Services newsletter, tools and hacks. In the past, I've reviewed things like survey tools. I have reviewed tools for feedback, content creation, graphics editors, photo editors, stock photo and video sources, online video apps. I love getting to do that, and some of the compilation of those tools and reviews are on my website, and I'm also happy to be involved with the Marketing Libraries Journal. It's a new open access journal that is available to both public libraries, academic libraries, special libraries to showcase research that is being done in the world of communications and marketing by various librarians. And then last, the other sort of big baby of mine, the project that I'm really proud to be involved with is the Library Marketing and Communications Conference. Our third one is in November in Dallas. We currently have more than 325 excited registrants for this year's conference, all happy to be getting together to network, talk, and share best practices on marketing with their library peers. We're the only conference dedicated to that. So let me share my screen. And like I said, today we are going to tool talk about video animation. So let me actually go into slideshow mode here. So what I try to show in my Tool Talk webinars and when I do presentations like this, similarly at conferences, one of the most popular sessions I did on this was at Computers and Libraries in DC. I try to show you at least one favorite tool of mine. This is the one that I keep bookmarked. It's the one I go back to. This is often a tool that I've decided is so useful or so intuitive that I'm willing to pay to use a more premium version or pay to get rid of watermarks or to get rid of additional features. And let's face it, I'm on a shoestring budget too. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a consultant. I don't like spending money unless I know a tool is really going to be worth it and is going to give me a really good bang for the buck. Otherwise, I'm like you. I'm gonna use the freemium things. The other thing I'll try and show is a tool that I think might be new to you, maybe because it's a tool that's used in other industries. Maybe it's a tool that's more commonly used by businesses. And I'm going to explore whether or not, this is something that maybe you should be aware of in your library, nonprofit, info or work. And then I try to show a tool that I'm exploring more. Maybe it's one that I found recently, and I think it's worth it for us to explore together. And to get your thoughts on should I dig deeper and behind the scenes test it out some more? Is this something that we should consider adding to our marketing toolkits? Today we're talking about video animation, and most importantly to know that we don't have to be Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks in order to make this a viable tool in the marketing toolkit. And if you're still not concerned, confident about that, I did a quick video using one of the tools that I'm talking about here on 6 basic reasons why video animation does make sense for live marketing. And then I blew that out to a blog post at intellicraftresearch.com/blog about 20 reasons actually why video animation makes sense. like I said, you know, I'm not talking, these aren't gonna win us any Oscars. You know, we're not gonna be, you know, superstars here, but we also don't need Disney to achieve, you know, some success using animation to tell our stories and our marketing messages. Animoto, Biteable and Animoto should both honestly have yellow arrows because they're both favorites of mine, and they are both tools that I actually pay for the premium versions of. But I think Biteable is not as well known. Animoto has been around a lot longer. PowToons is a name that you've probably heard of, and that's really not a, hey, let's explore more. I don't know anything about this. PowToons has maybe been around the longest and has a lot of brand exposure. Biteable, less so. But I think Biteable has a lot going for it, including it doesn't charge you by the month. It's a one-time, you know, it's a 1-year fee, and it's super intuitive. It's super easy to use, and I think pretty cost-effective in that regard. GoAnimate may be one that you haven't heard of, probably because GoAnimate seems to focus more on the business and enterprise side of things. It is pricier. Wave by Animatron is one that a colleague just told me about in the last 2 weeks because they were using it to create simple videos for Facebook, and they could use it to create a Facebook cover video. That's something you can do now for a page, a group. I think you could probably even do it for your own personal Facebook profile. Some others in the category, Ripple. Ripple is actually an app for smartphones, and the combination of moving text, still images, video clips, fairly easy. Again, a freemium sort of thing. You could, I think, create some text and animated style videos with Adobe Spark. You can also do it with PowerPoint. That's a whole other presentation, I think. Moovly is another new to me tool that I've just started exploring. That's again in the freemium category. Others that I know and I've heard of but haven't, Animaker, Video, Explaindio. Explaindio is software actually that you purchase and download. Everything else on here is cloud-based, so that, which I think is the way to go in this regard, because that means it doesn't matter what library computer you're working on. You don't have to keep the software just one place. You're accessing it no matter who's working on that project. Teams can access it. It's easier to come back to. It makes it easy to instantly share, in most of these, to things like Facebook and YouTube. So I'm concentrating right now on just showing you tools that are cloud-based for this. Now, one of the other, big reasons why animation, well, because we love visual content. Our brains are wired that way. It's why infographics are still so popular. It's why Facebook posts with a video or a picture get shared more. We process visuals faster than just text. You can accomplish a lot in a 30-second video marketing message, more and easier than you could with, that being all text or even on an entire blog post. We can jump and get to the point quicker with visuals. So what you're actually looking at here is, this is a slide. This is a still. This was part of a video that I created in PowToon to help promote this webinar and to talk about the reasons why animation makes sense. These were reasons 4, 5, and 6. And I admit, that's a kind of a cool feature of PowToons. PowToons lets you export what you created, because they are basically slides and get animated. It lets you download it as PowerPoint. So I could go into PowerPoint, stick my own logo in the bottom right-hand corner over the PowToons logo, stick my own URL on this, and now I've got an image that I could share and I could put into the blog post that I wrote. I could share this on Facebook. I think I might have shared it on Twitter. And that was a really great way to reuse the content that I created with the help and the templates that were already built in to PowToons. So I was pretty psyched about that. And that's actually down there. That's the link for the long blog post, the 20 reasons why I think libraries should use animated videos in their marketing. Before we dive into the actual tools, we need to step back a second. And this is true for any marketing content that we're creating. This is true no matter which one of these video tools you decide you want to play with. This is true for if you're actually going out with a camera and a video camera and you're shooting video, and then you're going to edit all that together. By the way, software for editing videos was the September Marketing Tool Talk webinar. So make sure you look for the links and that you see that recording online as well. If you're a member of my webinar list, then you should have gotten a link to that recording. And that might have seemed a little intimidating, looking at how to actually piece together video and video software, which is why we're talking now in animation, because that gets rid of a lot of the skills that are extra skills that are required, and like, oh my God, I'm not a film person. Well, you don't have to be. You do still need to have a simple story, and it can be bullet points, it can be post-it notes, but you need to figure out what you're talking about before you get involved in the particular tools. And you've heard me say this before and before. What is the singular, one purpose, one focus behind this particular video? One focus, one video. One video, one focus. Honestly, that's true for any piece of content. One focus per piece of content. Then we want to talk about how are we going to grab our viewers' attention, because you've only got 6 to 10 seconds at the very beginning of that video to hook them and to keep them watching. And one of the ways that you do that is that they need to know that that video or that piece of content is for them. And, you know, that this is specifically you're talking to them. When I say them, okay, well, we actually need to name them, that person by name, by group, by something that they affiliate with, by the benefits they're looking for, the outcomes they want. So it could be, for example, hey, attention Kindle readers. Or it could be, hey, moms of toddlers. It could be, are you a mid-career job seeker? Because you want to bring them into a library workshop that's talking about the job search databases and job search tools that you have. Maybe you're calling out and say, hey, have you checked out a book with us in the last 3 months? And I know that sounds like super specific. You need to be super specific, because not every marketing message is for every person. And if somebody doesn't think you're talking to them, they're going to ignore you. They need to know, oh, hey, that's me. Yeah, I'm a mom with a toddler. Okay, what do you have to say? Or, yeah, I like reading ebooks, my Kindle. What's up? You know, then it's into storytelling. You're setting the situation up. You know, what's the situation? What's the problem, or what's going on, and then what's a desired end result or outcome? You know, are you taking somebody from unhappy to happy, from feeling unaware of something to now feeling super competent and super confident? You know, is it about that they felt unable to do something and now they're going to feel able to do something after whatever intervention or outcome or action that you're helping to provide for them, the resources that you're offering? Things like more time, more happiness, more freedom. We all, universally, those are things we all want. It could be more freedom because you have freedom to read now that you have ebooks that you can download from the library, from Overdrive and from Hoopla, and you know, that's a type of freedom. And don't forget, this is a marketing message, so you need to have the call to action. You need to tell them what to do next. Get specific. Register for the workshop now link. You know, click this link below to get blank. Come to the free class on Wednesday, and you tell them what time and where. Be specific. Don't forget the call to action. Now, some examples that you could do in any type of video, but that I think maybe lend themselves well to types of animation or using stock photos and footage with text and stuff on top. But particularly for animation, a non-library example might be a car repair shop, and they show bad roads, they show potholes or bumps or debris. They show that maybe there's a wobbly car. There's a picture of somebody who's worried next to a car. And then the solution is you bring your car to the XYZ shop for a free inspection. The XYZ shop tells you if you need a new alignment because of all those potholes. And then maybe they give you a tip on how to avoid potholes in the future, or how to keep your car running great, you know, if you hit any more potholes. A library-related example. Patron, you said there's a picture of somebody who's potentially, you know, one of your patrons, and there's a really raging, angry steam coming out of their ears type cartoon character boss. you see this patron who's unhappy, at their desk, at something indicating they're unhappy at work. I think I missed a step in here where it says then they see a Facebook post or a Facebook ad, or they see a flyer about the library and a workshop for job seekers. This person's now thinking, yeah, I need to be seeking out the jobs to avoid the steam coming down of their ears, boss. So they come to the library. And now you see the library with the workshop on job search databases and how to upload resumes. And then you see the patron searching on the computer at the library, and you see the patron smiling. They're happy again. You're providing positive outcomes, and that's a very one-focused, specific, calling out to one type of person. Great potential for a marketing video right there. So this is Biteable, and Biteable is one of my fave tools of probably the past 18 months to 2 years. And I'm going to show you what we're seeing on the screen right here. This was an example of a video put together using the scenes and the templates that Biteable has built in. Biteable does all the animation. They're the one that makes all the characters move and the text move around on the screen. As they say, they're the world's simplest video maker. And this was one that I worked with a colleague who was a librarian at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. And they have a stress relief program that the library offers at the end of the semester. And it's pretty successful and pretty popular. And we thought, hey, there's an opportunity here to make a video to promote the library's stress relief program, and that Biteable would be a really good fit for it because it already has scenes and characters that we think we could use to tell the story of school and school-related stress, and then fun that's offered by the library, and that we're going to use that to set up. So I'm going to now take you into my Biteable account, and I'm going to take you into the storyboard and into the video that we created for this academic library. So now here we are inside of my Biteable account, and this is all the videos that I've created. I created a promotion for this webinar. I've created some things for some other businesses, for some other nonprofits, reasons to attend an event, a conference. But here's the copy that I made of the library stress relief program. I copied it so that I wasn't going to be editing, the original. And it's showing here, for example, that there are 14 little clips or scenes in this particular video. And if you go back to the beginning, you can go to all of Biteable, and it'll help you choose. There are different options to use, for example, to create an animated logo introduction, to create an advertising video that uses a mix of stock video clips and text. You can create slideshows, presentations. This is sort of under the explainer style of video. You can also start from scratch and just start mixing and matching any of the templates and the scenes within the Biteable catalog. But we're going to go to this one. We're going to hit the pencil. We're going to go to edit. Give me a second. Things may be running a little slowly since I've got multiple cloud-based video editors all open at the same time. On the other hand, that's a good thing because it's mostly not my computer power that's really doing all this. Excuse me 1 second. So we're here at the beginning. Now, as you can see, because this is a video that I already created, it already has all of these scenes down here along the timeline. This is Biteable's timeline for the video that is created. And you can drag and drop these little guys anywhere along that timeline. And if you want to add, say I wanted to add another scene, these are the templates and the scenes that you can choose from. I've been mixing in this particular video. I mixed some of bear with some of robot, but it was still they are still a fairly consistent look with the way the animation works. We're going to have our own colors in there. We're going to choose the same font so that it gives it the same look, so that it won't matter too much whether that it's bear versus robot. Although in the stock template, I think Robot uses a different font than Bear, but we can change that. We could mix in a little bit of Frank if we want to. I would not, for example, then go start mixing in images of real people or the clay scenes with the bear scenes. You might just do all claymation here just to keep a consistent style. These are some new ones that have really just been added within the past week. They've added this new business looking character. They've added in some social mascots and some abstract stuff. They're constantly adding. But you can see they've got, there's 53 scenes that you can pick from with Robot and with Bear. And say I wanted to add another bear scene. And if you mouse over, it previews what the animation is for that scene. Now, you can change colors, you can change text. You can't change the actual animation. No matter what you do, Rabbit's always going to jump up and high five Bear. Okay, that's why we're using a template. We're using a tool here rather than trying to figure out how to go in and 3D render or create our own animation. That's why we're using simple tools. Simple gets it done, gets it out, gets it working. Okay, so maybe we, so for example, maybe there was, I'm trying to think, what else might work for, the fact that we've got Bear, maybe that one, or Rabbit here is talking to Bear. Now this is a good one. I think we already used this in a particular scene, but we've got Bear in a graduation cap. That works for our school type setting. But in this case, so that's how you would add a scene, and you could drag and drop and rearrange it. Now you're going to notice that, for example, when we were looking at the Bear scenes, they looked different. There was a different color going on. That's up here. You're able to change the colors. There's two colors primarily in the video that you're able to customize in Biteable. You can pick one of their color palettes, or you can put in the hex codes for your brand color. So in this particular instance, we've put in the University of Wisconsin Whitewater's purple, and they have a sort of a gray as the other color, so that's why this is in the background. Now, I also don't remember whatever the default text font is for Bear. We just said, but you can choose. There are some other options. Not a lot, but enough to give a difference between something that's maybe more formal or stuffy like Oswald or Patua versus, something lightweight and fun. So we chose, a Matic here. Or say we chose, I wanted to see, and we're going to get real funky. We're going to have now, if I hit update preview, it's going to change this scene. And it's going to show me what the animation looks like, or it's going to show me what the text looks like after I've entered the text in this box here. It shows it over here. And we can see that it changed it into lobster. And that's probably not something that I would keep. So we're going to go back and we'll do that. We'll change that. The other thing, obviously, we're going to do, if we like how this looks after we've made a change to the text that we inputted or the font that we chose, then we'll hit save. And it jumps to our next scene. So here we have Robot, and we can see Robot is gray, this is purple. And so, for example, this is still pink because I didn't hit update preview when we were building this out. But never fear, as long as you tell it what color you want it to use, the final video will render in the colors that you've chosen. And it will look like that. There are places and there are scenes, for example, where you can add in. If one of the things that you click, there's a way to add in the logo, and you can add in the URL. So you can see that we've added in the file, and so what it will show in the end in the video is going to show this as the logo. It's going to show the URL for the library down here for our call to action. We've got our call to action in here. Because we set it up that in the story, that students are stressed. Let's go back. There's just a lot that goes on for students. The semester is a grind. We talked about researching papers, and then we talked about, well, what if there was a solution? What if you could go someplace and get therapy dogs, get a massage, have snacks? We really liked this one because it says, yes, the payoff is yes, you can find all of that on campus. You can find it at the Anderson Library, University of Wisconsin Whitewater. And we were excited because they actually did offer Jumbo Jenga. and we actually had a scene that was available to use with Jenga. So we were pretty excited about that. This is the color, and you can see that these are the color palettes that you can choose if that's something here that works for you or is close to your brand colors, or this is where you enter in the codes. You hit the plus sign, you enter in the code and the hex code for your brand colors. Excuse me, Biteable does offer a series of music audio tracks that you can add in underneath that really helps to keep set the tone, set the mood, the feeling throughout the video, keeps it moving along. And the good news here is that these are already clear. You don't have to worry about copyright licensing. You don't have to worry about you can upload a track if you have something that you've already purchased that is royalty free, or say you've got a track that is going to be a voiceover, you could upload that. But this keeps it simple. You can also choose none, and then edit this elsewhere to add in another track. But these are simple. It's already edited. It's going to perfectly match and fit the video. You don't have to do any video editing. You don't have to do any audio editing here. Preview is basically where it says, hey, all right, so in this case it says, we noticed you made some changes. And I'm like, yes. So it will build the video. It takes about 15 minutes. It's going to email you with the address that you've linked to this account to tell you that your video is ready. If you like it, then you can publish the video. Now here it says download. It says download video because I'm a paid Biteable user. That is one of the main differences with Biteable. This is true for nearly all of the cloud-based tools that are freemium. The free version has limited templates. It's probably going to limit you in terms of the length of the video that you can produce. But the biggest thing it's going to do is it's going to put a watermark. It's going to put a logo for that tool on the video. Your logo shows up, but it's also going to have Biteable across the corner, or it's going to have the big PowToon logo in the corner, or a big Go Animate or Wave, sitting somewhere over here. That's the price that we pay for using the free version. I don't know of any of the animation tools that let you get away with no watermark whatsoever in the free version. All of them, to get rid of the watermark, you're going to have to pay. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons that Go Animate is low on my list, besides the fact that it's generally a pricier tool, is the fact that, for example, the Go Animate watermark logo stays on your videos all the way up until I believe you're paying $70 a month. That's no thanks. So in this case, what Biteable would do if you've got a free plan is it's going to publish the video straight to YouTube. Well, you want the video on your YouTube channel anyway, and then you can share it. You can share it, I think, to Facebook. To get more control, to get rid of the watermarking, if you know you're going to use several of these videos a year, then that's when maybe it makes sense to use the paid plan. Because I do use this for my own business, for libraries that I work with, for nonprofit clients, it made sense for me to pay so that I could download the video, get rid of the white, So then I'm going to tell it to rebuild and say it's going to go do its little thing in the background while we go and take a look at something else. I'm going to go look at PowToons. PowToon, sorry. And we'll go back. Yep. All right, that's in a second. So that was that. So now I'm showing you the PowToon. These are screenshots taken from or slides that were created. This one is a video. So that's a screenshot of a video that was 50-second promotion video that I made about teaching and training on making videos for library marketing. This is the one that I created about 6 reasons to use animated videos for great marketing. So you can sort of see this is now granted, PowToons has a couple other styles. They're known for like the handwriting on the whiteboard type style. Also for these sort of characters. There are multiple different templates and scenes that you can create and choose from with PowToons. You are limited in the number and what you can pick in the free versions, and you're limited by the number of characters. You're limited to the number of objects you can put on screen that can be animated. In the free version, there's enough there to work with. There's enough there to make, I think, some simple videos. The more, say, complex, or the more in-depth, or not even in-depth, specific the story that you're trying to tell, the more likely you're going to need a paid version so that you can access more characters, more scenes, more different backgrounds, so that you are more likely to find something that fits the story and the message that you're telling in your marketing video. So now we will go back inside, and here this is the creation screen stuff inside of PowToon. PowToon is pretty, because it's been around and it's a big tool, they have a lot of tutorials. There's a lot of help out there on how to use PowToon, which is good because it's maybe not the most intuitive of the tools. It's got a lot more sort of working pieces. Biteable is simpler, no question, I think, at least in my opinion. You can start from scratch. One of the easy ways, if you're not sure where you're starting with PowToons, you take one of the templates that they've already created. It's basically a ready-made video. It's got the storyline already built in, and you customize from there, like the Duncan Hines and the Betty Crocker, cake mix. Pretty much already done. You're just adding some chocolate chips here. You can build it up kind of like we did in Biteable, dragging in a scene at a time. You can create the Square social videos here. They've got steps in terms of how to help write a script, like we were talking about. You can record a voiceover, or you can just use the built-in audio files that they let you use, similar to the way Biteable does or Animoto does. So for example, here's the one that I created, the 6 reasons. So if I click edit, so we will get awesomeness, it says. The layout's a little bit like looking at PowerPoint, because it calls, move this over, it calls these slides, and you drag, drop, or add elements, kind of the way you do PowerPoint. These are the things that you can add. You can change the background, adding text, adding in new characters, adding in objects. Some of those objects have animations built into them, like I think these stars twinkle. Yeah, you can see these are the stars move and animate themselves. You could change any of this. I'm not sure you want to get that granular, and not all of this doesn't. There's a spot here where you can add in your own logo, and your logo, appears. That stays because this is the free version. You add in text. You can change the color of the text, the effects of the text. This is the timeline for this slide. Right now, this is just showing you that this is a 6-second long slide. It's going to show you that animations or things appear at these points in time on the slide. So it says here there's 8 things that appear. So pretty much the bulk of the background of this scene appears within the first second. We got the stars moving and doing something here about 2 seconds. More stars appear, more stars appear. So for example, if we click the play button, we will play from the beginning. And you see the stars moving and doing their little thing. And if you were listening, if you could hear what was in my headset, you would hear the bouncy, bright, jaunty, xylophone-ish type music that was going along underneath this. Or you can mute it. And then the timeline starts over again, and it starts playing for the next slide. Come on, give me that slide. So in this particular instance, if I want to edit everything, then I have to get all the way to the end so that I know everything that's appearing. Anytime you mouse over something, you can see something you can drag and drop. So I can move that light bulb, or that light bulb appears with, that gray circle. The good news is that because I'm using a template, this is something that all of this scene existed inside of PowToon. I did not create this from scratch. I did not have to add the gray box. I did not have to add the thought bubbles. I didn't have to add the light bulb. That was something that was already here. I thought, you know what? Yes, this helps for me to tell my story. I will add this. It had a different character over here, and so we can change, and I'll show you that you can swap out the character. And this is actually the third time I've swapped out this character. And you can see anything with this little icon means those are paid tools. I don't have access to those. Well, I do if I want to pay for them. I'm using the free version. So I go up here, I look for, make sure I'm choosing objects that don't have the crown icon on them. And maybe I like her. And then it tells me that she has these 7 poses, these 7 animations that she can do. She can type, in which case we'd need to add something for her to type at. I like, because we've got the thought bubble and we're wondering, have you wondered why you should use animated video? We're going to say that she should be there. See, now this is strange. I did this earlier. We're supposed to be swapping characters, and instead it just outright added a character. So what are we going to do? I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard, and there she went. She went away. And I can drag and drop her. I can make her larger. In fact, I could make it so that, you know, that maybe fits the scale a little bit better. Also, I think, you know what? I want her to, there we go. Now she's facing the same direction as our light bulb on our text. And if you hold your cursor over, you're going to see what her animation is. That's what she does. That's all she does. We don't change that unless you change the poser from that little box where we showed earlier that she could be typing, she could be talking, she could be laughing, she could be sad. There's a limit, but there's 7 different things and 7 different animations that she could do. And in this particular case with The Office, all of these characters basically have the same 7 animations. They all think, type, wave. So we like her, so she's okay. That's okay. And we move through and we continue sort of building out to tell the story, in which case the story here is, I'm wondering, have you wondered whether animation makes sense to use? And then I give 6 reasons why animation does in fact make sense, and that the reasons have icons or things that are animated in some respect. And then I make sure that I've got my calls to action down here at the end. So for example, the call to action is I want you to click to go to my website, and I'm pretty sure if you do the click here in this link, it's going to take you to sign up for another webinar. So, and then it gives you my logo and the website. So that's PowToon's. It's worth exploring. You know, if you're okay with the watermark down there in the corner, there's still a pretty good range of characters, tools, poses, objects, animations, and scenes that you can choose from in the free version. So if you're watching today, and maybe you're watching this on the replay, and you want to make sure that you get the slides from today, or you want to get the recordings, you want to have the access, and you want to make sure that you get an invite to the next webinar, and any bonus materials that I often send, handouts, tips, lists of pricing, the additional resources that I didn't show behind the scenes of on a particular ToolTalk topic, then you want to make sure that you're on my webinars email list. Why? Because not everybody that's in my community necessarily wants to hear about the webinars, but those who do, I want to make sure you get everything that's related to the webinars. I want to make sure you don't miss a chance or an invitation to a next webinar. So that's IntelliCraftResearch.com/webinars. I try to do them on the 2nd Thursday of the month. I think that's going to change in December, but there's already one scheduled out for November and December of the reign of 2017. So make sure that you check out IntelliCraftResearch.com/webinars so that you can see the list of upcoming webinars, potential topics that I might cover, and so that you are on the list to get access, to get the reminders, the invites, and the all-important recordings and replays. So on a tool, this was under the, hey, let's explore this more. So what you're seeing here, you're also seeing in the background, PowToon still. This is the dashboard for a tool called Wave by Animatron. And Wave's sort of a hybrid. It's not purely animation. It's got the kinetic type moving on screen, type that does stuff, type that helps tell the story, but it's also using its library of still clips and video clips. And in this particular instance, we've got some video or still, or it's panning, what we like to call the Ken Burns effect. I think iMovie, when you pan, when you tilt, when you're making movement happen just on a still photo, for which Ken Burns has had an incredibly effective career and done highly well with PBS and everything, making movies entirely out of still photos. When you're doing that pan, it's called the Ken Burns effect. And yes, you can do it in iMovie, and iMovie is a great tool for that sort of thing. Wave here is it's not purely animation. It's a lot like Animoto in that it's using clips, stills, text, and these templates to help you quickly put together a video without needing to have any video editing skills whatsoever. And in this particular case, you're accessing Wave's library of stock photos and stock video clips, so that makes it, even simpler. So let's go and we'll check that out. This is one that I think I'm going to need to dig around a little more, because literally I've only had about less than a week since a colleague told me about this, to see what it can do, to see how it compares to maybe to Animoto. Again, this is the free version, or the freemium version, which means in the end it's going to have a watermark that I think shows up here. I believe there's a limit in terms of the timing of the video we can create, and it limits access to certain stock clips and stock footage. I was actually pretty amazed at how many photos and clips are available seemingly for free that don't have the little $sign on them when you do a search. So that's really impressive. And when I dig into this a little bit more, I'm thinking the pricing on this looks like it's pretty competitive with some of the other tools, and probably cheaper than Go Animate, maybe cheaper than PowToons. It's a very different tool, honestly, than PowToons. The friend who suggested this to me was because they've been seeing it used for social media videos, and particularly on Facebook, because it's got the square video, and it has templates to create a Facebook cover video, which is now an option for pages, I think maybe even groups, and maybe even personal profiles, to really catch somebody's attention with a Facebook cover video that's going to stay there. The nice thing is, so in this particular instance down here, this is selected. This is a handle. I can drag and drop this, and basically that's acting like a little video editor. It just cut that scene down. If 11.5 seconds is too long for that whole scene, whatever's going on, then you can select it and you can drag and drop that little handle. And anytime there, you see that's where you change the text, and you change the colors, you change an effect. I haven't had a chance to figure out exactly all what it does, but I'm like, all right, I don't know, changed text. I think it changed. I think on this one I changed text even in the middle of the scene. Down here is where you go to add, and you can see I had done a search for books, and was surprised that there were a number of them. This is the hidden little drag and drop bar that were available free, so you could completely put together a marketing video related to libraries using just their free clips. Now, like for these ones here that are 29 and 34 seconds, you're going to be wanting to use that little drag and drop slider and make that a lot shorter. In fact, you might just use 2.5 seconds of one part of the clip, and you might use a different 3 seconds of that same clip. But that was talking about video editing and when to make edits and how to shorten clips. All of that was actually a completely different webinar. That was the September webinar where we talked about video editing and video editing software. It's a different skill set. That's why I wasn't quite sure I wanted to talk about Wave, because I was trying to give you tools where you don't need those types of video skills. So, if you had something like this, where it's pretty much a literally blank book, and you're putting the text on top, that's a little closer to animation, but not quite. So this tool, need to explore it a little bit more. This one also worth exploring more. This is Moovly. Moovly is another cloud-based animation. The nice thing, and the reason I want to dig into this a little bit more, is that $5 a month is a lot cheaper than most of the other tools in its category, which it so clearly illustrates. Competitor 1, that's PowToon's logo. That's GoAnimate's logo. That's eMaze's logo. I'm still trying to figure out who competitor 3 is. If anybody recognizes that logo, let me know, because I want to know. Because that's a tool somehow that I don't know about, and I've been searching, this category for a while. So $5 a month, yeah, that's worth it. I might consider getting a trial on that just to see what this particular tool can do and how it stacks up to some of the others in the category. Excuse me. You're probably aware of Animoto, and again, Animoto, like Wave, not truly an animation software. It is, however, easy to create videos without needing to have any significant video editing skills. It's got the music files already built in. It's often got, great templates. You could use the original Animoto slideshow video feature and their templates and add in only the text scenes and not add in any photos. And you would have, in essence, a type of animated video, because again, you didn't have to create any photos, you didn't have to shoot any video footage, you're not even using any of their stock footage, you're just using their template. This is their newer marketing video style video, and they offer this now also for social, so that you can change the ratio and make the square ones. Again, a little bit different. I'm also not completely sure what this looks like on the freemium side, because what you're looking at right now is my paid Animoto account. I'm going to have to create a separate account for some of these things to look at, so that I see everything that you see on the free side. And you can see this is halfway through editing, so in some cases I've added my own pictures where it's doing sort of the Ken Burnsy effect here, or my own, own photo, this is my own video clip, stock clip that I own, of getting thrown in here. I've added in my own text about 8 mistakes of content marketing, because this is a video that I'm creating for the presentation that I am giving in November at the Library Marketing and Communications Conference about content marketing. But the other half of this is still the template from Animoto that had to do with like how to throw a really great football party. The template looked interesting. I liked the text, I liked the layout. Now I'm having to go in and change their photos, because chips and dip have nothing to do with content marketing. At least I haven't figured out how to make them about content marketing. So this is another part of the tool within Animoto's options that I want to explore more, but it's not animation. It's not animation the same way that PowToons and the whiteboard drawings or the cartoon characters are, or that Biteable is. But if you're already familiar with Animoto, then you already know that it's a tool that makes video easy, and if it makes it easy, then it gets done, and then your message is out there. So this is, we'll take a quick break here. I want to make sure that you know that we can always talk, that you know that I do custom webinars, that I do custom training and workshops. I do workshops half day, full day for libraries, library systems, library consortiums, regional groups. I also do one-on-one marketing mentoring. If you're interested in learning more about any of those options for your library, your information organization, or your nonprofit, then my email is jburke@intellicraftresearch.com. And you can see this was the classic Animoto slideshow story feature. And in fact, if I put this up, you can see that, for example, here, those are text only parts of that particular video. So if we took out everything else, we could make a video in Animoto that just had the text, and we can highlight it with that little yellow box. That's a highlight, and that's going to give it a little bit different treatment within the video, how it's rendering and how it's sort of animating for that style of video. So that is possible in that regard. So I'm always curious to find out what you liked, or what you thought was new and interesting and what you thought you were going to try. So make sure that you drop that in the chat and questions coming in. Yeah, definitely. iMovie is simple. iMovie is great. I've used iMovie with the text features, the Ken Burns effect to do that. Absolutely. If it's a tool that you've already got and it's on a device, then it's a tool you're going to use, and I'm in favor of that. And I should go back to, I haven't played around. I haven't made a promo or a video with iMovie in a while, but yep, thank you for reminding that's absolutely a good tool to use. And yes, PowerPoint. You can create videos directly from PowerPoint, so you could create text. You could use those animation features that normally are cheesy in a presentation to a live audience, but that actually would work for video. So you can have things, maybe not completely cheesy, but yeah, you can have objects on screen. You can have the text coming on using the animation feature within PowerPoint to do that, and then using this is going to be a separate webinar, I think, to record it as a video. And without audio or voiceover or anything else, you can add that later, or you can do it within PowerPoint. But that's something I think we forget that's an option. It's simple. It's maybe more rudimentary animation than what I showed you in PowToons or Biteable. But it's PowerPoint and Keynote are tools that we all have already. That's probably something we can do inside of even a Google Slides. That's something that you can do in Adobe Spark. Even Canva now. Yeah, Canva has added, and I don't know whether that's just in the paid plans or not, but Canva has added the ability to create slides and then export them basically as a GIF. So now you've got a little mini animated movie in essence. So yes, those are other options. If you've got anything else from this that you think you want to try, if you've got a tool that you've heard of or an app that I didn't mention, by all means let me know. Tweet it to me. I'm at @theinfohound, or send me a message. Hit me up on IntelliCraftResearch.com or on Facebook. And I'd love to include it in my list of tools in the roundup on my website, or possibly in a future webinar. This is how you contact me for more. That's my email. You can read the blog posts. Definitely read up on, I did an epic roundup of video editing software. I did a recent post on 20 different reasons why you should be using video animation for your marketing. And definitely that I will have links to many more of the tools in this particular category that I've reviewed, including some of the features that they offer and pricing. And be sure, if you're watching this on replay and you want to make sure that you get an invite to the next free marketing tool talk webinar, that you're on the webinar list. So that's IntelliCraftResearch.com/webinars. Or if you'd like, there's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/tooltalkwebinars. So I thank you very much. I thank you guys who showed up live, and I thank you to those who are watching this on replay for coming to another Lunch and Learn session with me as I get to talk tools for marketing. So thank you very much. Make sure that you're checking my website. Make sure that you check that link to IntelliCraftResearch.com/webinar so you know when the next webinar is and what topics we will be talking about. If you have an idea or tools you'd like to see explored further in more depth, contact me, and maybe that tool will show up in a future webinar. Maybe I'll be able to use your library and your example of a marketing challenge to show off a tool in a future webinar. So thanks very much. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next Tool Talk webinar.